Hello there, I'm Scotty, you're not. Welcome back to the Flash Reviews for Season 9, Episode 11. A New World, Part 2, The Blues. That's why they call it The Blues. This episode was directed by Kayla Compton, which is why she's only in it at the beginning. And, yeah, so we start off, and what we now know is 2049. There's a scene later where Malcolm Gilmore, apparently that's the name of our mysterious Eddie Thong, supposedly. His name is Malcolm Gilmore. Okay? He walks into CCPD with this strange woman. I'm like, who is this woman? Why is it not Kramer? And she's like, everyone's like, oh my god, it's him. And we don't really continue that. We go back to, 2023, where they're trying to find Barry. And much like I said with the trailer, the Flash is missing from most of this episode. But he's going to be in the next episode, so don't worry. Missing for most of it. But I think they did a good job at trying to fill in the gap. I think it worked. I had a feeling this was going to be like the middle ground episode where like the last shooter is going to be boom, 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 we're going to get all the excitement. And this is the middle ground where it's like, character development, stuff that's important. So, yeah. Barry's disappeared and Cecile has called back Mark, everyone's favorite character. I like Mark, okay, to help with him. Chillplane is back, alright? So they say that whatever took Barry is leaving cobalt residue. So Chester P is going to use his computer to try to track it. The problem is it's one of those things where, okay, I'm going to program the computer to do it, but it's going to take half the entire episode to actually get it to work. Because if it worked right away, the search would be up. And there's a Halon attack, like that. Halon, whatever. Like when like a fire happens and it sprays down, and it affects some people. It like a couple of the people that work there are affected. Like it messes with their halogen is what I'm saying. I'm like, but wait, if that's for dousing out fires, why does it hurt our lungs? That's very dangerous, I guess maybe they cover when it sprays, I don't know. But, as said, Allegra is there with Iris. Iris has pulled up. A lot of people were talking about in the trailer that they brought up the article that says Flash vanishes missing in crisis. And people are like, oh my god, she's gonna write it. No, she's just pulling it up from before. She's not rewriting it. She pulled it up, she had it saved, she forgot she had it saved. So sometime in a million miles is a lot to talk about in this episode. So other goes on the hall, she's like, oh hey, and gets knocked out. Right away I'm like, okay, it's someone we know. And as we were going along, I'm like, okay, it has to be Chillplane. And I was like, and it's not until he says something to Keone later that I was like, okay, there's something with him, and then it's confirmed. Keone uses her powers to put plant genes inside the two people who were hit with the halogen so they can breathe. They turn green and they freak out, and yeah. So everyone is now back at Star Labs. And they have Iris in the time vault with Cecile at one point too, because she's pregnant and she can have a baby any time. They want to keep her safe, you know what I mean? And they still can't find Perry. And so we also cut back and forth with Malcolm talking to this police chief lady and he's like, my name is Malcolm Gilmore. She's like, Mr. Gilmore, can I see your identification? So he takes out his ID and it's blank, and then there's like a blue flash and it says Malcolm Gilmore, his face on it, whatever. And he's trying to figure out what happened to Eddie Thawne. He's having flashes of Eddie's life, but he can't fully remember. He doesn't know. So at first, I thought perhaps they were doing, because, in the comics, okay, I'm going to spoil who this villain is if you don't know already. Cobalt Blue. In the comics, it is Barry's twin brother, Malcolm Thawne. And the Malcolm Gilmore name is derived from that. Malcolm Thawne, and the Dr. Gilmore is the one who separated the babies in the comics. So, yeah. And here is the negative Speed Force, but I think in the comics it's just the Speed Force he taps into, I guess. But, yeah. So, he's trying to figure out, so he's got to go. And he eventually breaks into the CCC Media, excuse me. Central City Citizen Media. I'm just going to call this the building. And that's where we meet the one lady who was attacked, Taylor, I think her name is. She doesn't look any younger than she did earlier in the episode, but that's why you're supposed to be confused. But there's a scene where he's walking down the street, and in the back it says something 2049. So he's obviously in the future in 2049, which makes sense because at the end of season 8, that's where the crystal was. Although it's jumping through time now, so I don't know. Meanwhile, Chilblain, or I forgot to go. Malcolm gets caught by the lady, and he's trying to figure out. I need to find out how he died. So he leaves. End of that part till the end of the episode. So my nose is itching like hell. Jesus Christ. So back in 2023, okay, Chilblain basically yells and gets all mad at Keon for what she did, and she takes off. Which then he smiles and his eyes glow blue, which means the crystal is controlling him now. But we never got a scene of him grabbing the crystal coming to him, because they wanted to be a surprise. So I'm assuming that Cecile called him, and then the crystal showed up at the opportune time and took him over. But he basically goes on a spree. He attacks Cecile and says he's going to kill Iris. He's going to gut her. That's some language for a family TV series. I'm going to gut you. Jesus. But he is saved by she is saved by a flash of lightning. And I'm thinking, because first I'm like, Chester, because the way he talks to Chester, he's like, I thought Chester was going to figure it out. But he doesn't. He goes to check on Allegra and leaves Chilblain to try to configure the thing, which he just shuts down. And then, so I thought maybe like Chester P figured it out. No, he's hit by lightning, and it's Nora. Speed Force Nora. Speed Force Nora. Speed Force Avatar Nora. And she saves Iris. And she says that the other forces are being attacked by the negative forces. Of course, we don't get to see that because budget, but that's fine. And she's weak. And she can't find Barry anywhere, past, present, future, anywhere. But I'm thinking he's in the past but can't be found because of stuff. I mean, time is not fluid. So it could be anywhere at any point and untraceable, I guess. And so basically, Speed Force Nora says that the only one who can stop him is Keon. So she brings Keon there with what's left of her powers, basically, and says, you have the power to help Chillblade to stop this negative speed force inside him. And so we get the scene from the trailer where she bursts into the apartment and they have a showdown, and she melts Chillblade so that the crystal comes out of him and then rebirths him and makes him back to normal again. It was wow. Most of it was kind of off screen because, budget, but just the idea of that, damn. And so, then Iris starts to feel weird. And it turns out she's having contractions. Just in time, Barry comes back. Yes, he comes back towards the end of the episode. I thought this was the end. She's like, we're having a baby, and he hugs her, and the lightning came up on the stream. Like, oh, okay. What's the teaser for next week? Which it is next week. We'll get into that. And not commercial. I'm like, wait, what? Look, we had 10 minutes left. I'm like, oh, we're not done yet. Okay, so we come back from commercial. They're at the hospital, and I did kind of laugh at this because it's kind of funny. Barry's like, I'm here, and I'm not going anywhere, and immediately leaves the room. I'm like, Barry, you just said you weren't going anywhere. Now you're leaving the room so you can go sit out with the other people, And then Chillblade's like, I'm gonna go find the crystal. What are you gonna do, sir? Good sir, what are you going to do? What are you going to do here? Where do you think you're gonna go? I'm gonna go find the crystal. I'm like, huh? Like, it could be anywhere, and you're just gonna walk off to try to find it. Maybe scanning for the cobalt radiation stuff, maybe? I don't know. But Keon says that she's gonna leave. I'm like, what, really? Really, right now? No. She's gonna leave after everything is done. After they take care of the negative street force, she's gonna leave. And then Barry disappears again. From the trailers for next week, I'm assuming it is 2049 he goes to. I'm just assuming. So, yes, so Barry's gone again. Also, we do find out Allegra is awake and she's on her way there, but she's awake. Why did she come with him? Or did she wake up and text Chuck just to pee? And I don't know. But yeah, so Iris is gonna have baby. Barry's gonna bye-bye again, and Keon's gonna leave after she helps take down, let's face it, Cobalt Blue. That's what we know it is. And then Stinger for next week, right? We cut to something that some of us might have seen the production stills or set photos. Is Malcolm, digging up Eddie Thon's grave. And he's digging up, and then the police is like, Malcolm, put your hands up. This is against the law. He's like, I need to know. I'm sitting there going, well, we know his body's not going to be in there. It's not going to be a surprise for us. Him, maybe. Opens it up. Of course, not in there because his body got sucked into the singularity at the end of season 1, right? Right? So, we know the body's not in there. All of a sudden, I didn't realize this at first, but he's wearing the same clothes that Eddie was wearing when he went in. And all of a sudden, the blood forms on his chest from where he shot himself. He sees everything that happened, and it's there. And she's like, you look like him, it's just a coincidence. And he starts laughing. It's kind of an evil laugh. He's like, he quotes Eddie, nothing is a coincidence. So, I'm quoting Welzabard in season 1 where he says that of all the Thawns, Eddie was the most unimportant, the most amount to nothing. He's basically erased from history. And I've already come to the reason for that is that he does that so he no longer exists. But there is other Thawns, I am assuming, but the whole thing, he does that, and that's why it's, Yeah. Although that is kind of conflicting, but Dawn keeps coming back even though he did that anyway. And if they're doing what I think they're doing, is something they should have done the entire time. And this is Eddie. It's his body went through the singularity. It, I'm assuming, landed in the future, and also went through parallel because it was Earth One and now it's Earth Prime. But it could also be the stuff that's still Earth Prime events, just And he's in 2049 now, and his body was sent there. He was working at Mercury Labs, like it was set up, like maybe the negative speed force caught him in the singularity and spat him out in 2049 as Malcolm Gilmore created this fake identity for him. Because no one seems to know who he is, but he works at Mercury Labs. In Central City, I'm assuming. He doesn't say he came from somewhere else. So I don't know. It's very confusing. But, yeah. So, that's the end of the episode. And like I said, next week, because I was worried because they said before there was no more breaks, but then last night I watched Superman Lois, and they said next episode is not till May 23rd. I'm like, what are you talking about? There's no more breaks. Well, there's no more breaks for The Flash. Apparently, there's breaks for Superman Lois and Gotham Knights, but there shouldn't be because that season is only 13. Excuse me, it's only 13 episodes. You shouldn't have any breaks, especially. Look, I understand editing stuff. Everything's filmed. Everything's done by the time they're spitting these shows out. You know what I mean? These ones. So I don't know, but they gotta have breaks because they got certain set times to have them out. So yeah, Superman, Lois, and Gotham Knights are on a break. The Flash, not so much. We'll have one next week, so I will be here for that. But I think this episode was good. Not as good as the last one. I don't know what they're doing with The Flash though. I'm assuming he's gonna be in the one more next week, and I think Nora, is going to be there, maybe in more than one way. Yeah, so, what are your thoughts on this episode of The Flash? In the comments below, like, share, and subscribe. Thanks for watching. I'm Scotty, and I'll see you in the next one.